guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Bleu. Today's Answer Monday. Are you guys excited? Because I'm totally excited. Now, I will tell you that I will put all the answers down in the description box below. So if you, you don't have to write them down right away. If you have a 2018 or 2019 ICD-10 book, you should be getting the same diagnosis codes as me. If you have anything older than that, I don't know because I don't have a 2017 or 2016 book, okay? And as far as the CPT book goes, I think it can go back as far as 2017. Your procedure codes should match what I have, okay? So let's get started. The first one is left distal femur medullary bone infarct. I got M87.852. Now, how did I get that if it's not in the book? So what I had to do was do research on what is a bone infarct. And basically it's when the cells, elements die in the bone and in the marrow. So it's like the ischemic death, okay? So this is what led me to find the alternative word osteonecrosis, right? Because it's like bone dying, okay? So that's where you have to kind of like look for alternative wording if you cannot find it in the book, and you will run into diagnoses like that, just like we did here. So I hope you guys were able to find this diagnosis, and I hope you were able to use your resources to find the answer, okay? And if you didn't, that's okay, because this is why we're doing this, so that way we can start learning all together. Because believe me, I was just like, okay, where am I going to find this code? You know, how can I find this? And so this is why I'm sharing it all with you, okay? Number 2 is the trigger finger of the left index finger. I got M65.322. And the trigger point injection of the left finger procedure code is 20552 with the LT modifier, okay, for the left. Number 3 is otitis media of the right, non-superlative, chronic serous. I got H65.21. And for the right myorrhingotomy under general anesthesia, I got 69421 with the RT modifier, okay? Now, did you catch that with that procedure code? Because there's one for without general anesthesia and with general anesthesia. So it's always about, you got to watch those details, okay? Number 4 is a 12-day-old baby that has hyperbilirubinemia. Say that 5 times fast. So I won't bore you guys with me getting tongue-tied with hyperbilirubinemia. I got P59.9. Now, I will pause and stop right there real quick. I will, in the coming weeks, be working on, for Quiz Fridays, I will be working on moms and babies, and I will be working on burns. So those take a little bit more finesse, okay? Because burns is a little bit more detail-oriented, and I want to make sure that I don't put it in a way that's going to scare people, okay? If you are presented with learning to code something in a particular way, it can make you either not want to do it, or it'll make you want to learn more. And so hopefully I'm helping you guys to want to learn more, because again, like I said, these things are not sanctioned. This is just me. I'm just a civilian medical coder who likes to share what I know. And I think a lot of times, from what I've seen, even from my own facility and from listening to other people from other facilities and going to convention and hearing that, you know, a lot of stuff is not uniform because people are sort of looking at things and not really seeing the full picture, or maybe they're getting taught by somebody that's just sort of rushing because they really don't understand it themselves. So I want to make sure that when, you know, these are some things that I love to do. I love doing injury coding. I love doing orthopedic coding and podiatry coding. Procedural coding is a favorite of mine too. So those things I like to do. So when I like to do something, I really like to share it. So this is one of those things, and I hear it a lot even when I go out in conference, and I hear, really, you like coding orthopedics? I'm like, yes. You know, you guys don't like it, you know, with injury coding? It's confusing. it's confusing if you're not being like shown like what are some of the ways that you can look at it to where it'll make it a little bit easier for you. So that's what I like to share. So, anyway, getting right back to it. Sickle cell, number 5 is sickle cell crisis with fever with splenic sequestration. I got D67.02 and R50.81. Now, why is this important? Why did I bring this up? Because a lot of times when people are going through documentation and they're abstracting these bold-face diagnoses, like sickle cell is a bold-face diagnosis, and then you see fever, it's easy to discount that fever because you think, oh yeah, that's just part of the sickle cell crisis, right? But then when you get into the book tells you to code additional fever that is associated with the sickle cell. This is why I say don't neglect the details, because that detail, you could have missed the additional code. So if this is something that your provider perhaps needs to be more educated on, as far as like they need to make sure that all the details are there, let them know, did this, what is going on with this patient? It's not just this one thing, because all of those details can impact their next visit, just something to think about, okay? Number 6 is arterial sclerosis of the native vessel with an unstable angina pectoris. I got I25.110. Now be careful when you see these arterial sclerosis, because you want to make sure that if it is of the native vessel or if it is of the bypass graft, because sometimes it can happen to the bypass graft if the patient's had a bypass. So make sure you pay attention to that. Number 7. This one I'm really excited about. Okay, so it is the non-displaced fracture of the right medial humeral epicondyle subsequent visit. So for the diagnosis code, I got S42.444D. Okay, they are coming in for a follow-up to do a routine cast change, right? They applied a short arm cast from elbow to finger. I got 29075 with a 58 modifier and an RT modifier for the right. And remember, I told you it was 2 procedure codes, 99024 for the post-operative period, okay? So even though this patient had a fracture and likely did not go to the OR for this, because their close treatment or maybe the manipulation that they had is a 90-day global procedure. When it is a 90-day global procedure, it falls under that surgical realm, okay? So all the visits that are for this fracture and all this repair is going to have that 99024 on the routine follow-up visits for this patient during that 90 days. Because this tells the statistical folks, as well as the insurance people, this patient is in the post-op period with just by adding that 99024 procedure code, okay? Now, you may be asking, what the heck is this 58 modifier, okay? So 58 modifier is a staged or related procedure during the postoperative period. So it is planned or anticipated. Obviously, a cast change is anticipated because you cannot just leave the patient in the original cast. I mean, I guess you could, but if they're going to have to change it, this is sort of staged, okay? Because this is planned and it is expected, it is anticipated that they can have a cast change. Now, I will say this, okay? Not all facilities use all the modifiers, and I will be doing a special series on modifiers. You can look in Appendix A of your CPT book, okay, if you have questions on this. So, but with this, going back to what I was saying about doing this modifier series, there are many modifiers, okay? And it takes, it's going to take a little bit of time, and this is why I want to break it down. I don't want to give you guys a fire hose video of all of these things, because I don't want to burn you guys out. I want to give you just enough that you're like, oh, I want to learn more. I can't wait for the next episode. Hopefully you have that. You have that thought process, because I don't want to make it boring for you guys, because I get excited about this and I'm learning too. So, those things that, we can learn together. Okay. But I want to make sure that this isn't something that is going to like freak you out either. Okay. And I will also tell you that not all facilities use all modifiers. There are some facilities that have special rules that they do not use certain modifiers. So you have to be sure to check with your facility or your provider office, whoever you're coding for, and make sure that you're using the appropriate modifier. That's just something to think about. Okay. So that was the answer to that one. And number 8 is a preoperative appointment for a patient with morbid obesity with a BMI of 52. So I got Z61.818 with E, like in Edward, 66.09 for the morbid obesity, and the Z68.43 for the BMI. 3 codes. All right. And number 9, bowing of the left femur, right? I got M21.952. Now, how did I get that? Because there is no bowing, right? So it's under deformity of the thigh. There is bowing of the femur, but when you look it up in the book, it's going to give you the congenital. Now, I know that you guys didn't have any other information other than what I just told you. So remember what we talked about before, that you can't assume something is congenital. That if you have a diagnosis and you don't know if it is congenital or acquired, you're going to go with the acquired, because we cannot make an assumption that the patient was born with this condition. Okay? So when you're looking it up in the index, it says see also deformity, limb, specified type, and then otherwise it'll give you the congenital. And like I said, we don't want that. Okay. All right. And then the last one is embolism of the popliteal artery. I got I74.3. Okay. So that was it. So how do you think you guys did? Did you do good? Did you get the ones that we had talked about with the 2 procedure codes or the modifiers? Let me know. And if there's a specialty that you want me to kind of expand on, or you want me to add into Quiz Friday, let me know. Right now I'm just sort of taking out the ones that I think are the random ones, and like, oh, I want to talk about this, or I want to mention this because of this detail or that detail. Or it just may be because when I'm flipping through the book, I think, ooh, that would be a good diagnosis to pick up, like last week's with the hourglass stomach, which I never knew there was such a thing. So, but yes, those were all the answers, and I will be including them down below. Tomorrow's episode for Q&A Tuesday is going to be jam-packed. So there are so many questions that I got, and thank you guys so much, because this is really good, and I have got a really good episode. I'm excited, and I'm also going to do the countdown days tomorrow, because instead of having them ready for today, I forgot. But shh, don't tell. Don't worry, we will be counting down the days tomorrow to the AHIMA 2019 conference that is being held in beautiful Chicago, Illinois, home of the American Health Information Management Association. I can't wait. I totally can't wait. It's going to go on in September. I will be including the address for the, it's the visitor's guide that you can get for Chicago if you are planning on going to conference this year. All right. So that is my episode for tonight. If you guys have any questions about today's episode, let me know. Shoot me an email, and I will include my email down in the description box below. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider, or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. All right, well, I will see y'all tomorrow for Q&A Tuesday. Bye.